How to design a house with a Voronoi shaped pattern. When it comes to learning, there is a great masterpiece by Deca Architects, a firm based in Greece. They designed the project named Voronoi Corals in landscape of southern Milos, spanning a total area of 90,000 square meter and incorporated 5 corals. So what is a Voronoi pattern? It is a pattern where each area has a central point called a seed or a cell. Inside a region, every point is closer to its own seed than to any other seed outside that region. Along the edges of each area, points are equally distant from two closest seeds. You can spot this pattern in things like cracked mud, giraffe skin, leaves, trees and many more. Voronoi Corals is a residential landscape, a new paradigm for sustainable development where agriculture production coexists harmoniously with the habitation. 5 corals were constructed over a span of 10 years. Here the excavation of the site created a new architecture style. In this project, the house is underground, inspired by the Voronoi geometry, and integrates seamlessly with the surrounding environment. The Voronoi geometry adapts to the context, and the plan of this project was parametrically designed around carefully chosen points. The points correspond to a specific functions defining a Voronoi grid. On the roof, each cell contains a different species of aromatic plants. The ceiling of this house forms a 3-dimensional Voronoi grid, created as sand flows out of a hole in a sandbox, creating a kaleidoscopic ceiling for the interior. The house is a careful integration of landscape and architecture. The Voronoi cells create a geometry of the house, combining different open and closed spaces. The spaces with the circular holes at the top are the interior spaces, while the plain spaces are the semi-open areas. These circular openings provide natural light and are interconnected, and the house smoothly blends with the natural setting, incorporating natural materials, and the roof of the house forms a Voronoi landscape. The design of this coral is based on the spatial pattern called the Voronoi cells, arranging specific views and spaces inside. Each cell has its own purpose, such as being an outdoor courtyard, providing shade, serving as a common area, or a bedroom or an extra space. Inside, the ceiling of each cell curves upward toward the center, where there is a circular skylight, giving the interior roof a natural flowing shape. The outline of the corals clearly define borders between the wild landscape and the new residential and agriculture area they contain. The project, completed in 2 stages over 8 years, lies somewhere between architecture and landscape architecture. Here, Deca Architects uses the stone wall as a natural material and white wall interior that increases the grandness of the interiors. And the roof of the house contains the green plants. The exterior boundary of the house protects the house from wild animals. Let's try to understand the conceptual scheme of the house. Voronoi is a pattern that we see in the nature. It is like a dividing plane into different organic shapes, which are based on some calculation and parametric ideas. If you use Grasshopper in Rhino, you can easily find a plugin named Voronoi. And you can also find a various tutorial on how to make a Voronoi cells. So you divide the plane into different organic geometries based on the requirement of the cell. For example, you fix the area of a space and you create different shapes for the particular area, which gives you a different experience in the space. So here the plane is divided by different cells based on the requirement of that particular cell, and they are interconnected from the interior. So you get your own parametric concept of the house. And here Deca Architects also use a similar concept to design this house. And these posts are 3-dimensional points in a space, which contains the functional area like living room, kitchen, bedroom, bathroom. And these functions are defined based on the requirement of the light, air and wind of that particular area. Here Deca Architects excavated the land and they placed the house underground, and afterward they added a natural landscape back again on the roof of the house, and this way the house takes the shape in the natural setting. Let's try to understand the plan of the house. The project, shaped by the natural surroundings, pays careful attention to the local tradition and the beautiful landscape. Bathed in sunlight and cooled by sea breezes, the impressive building size below the ground level. It includes 4 bedrooms facing south and is a part of a Voronoi Corals. The plan was made by using the Voronoi parametric strategy, a math concept dividing a plane into sections based on a distance. In this house, the challenge was to work with the Voronoi diagram and fit the functional space effectively. The design was created by considering views and spaces needs. Here, Deca Architects use special tools to design. Instead of drawing lines, they move points around to create the space in the house. Voronoi's formula ensures that each table, bed or tree enjoys the most amount of space in relation to its neighboring area. So the center part of this Voronoi grid contains the functional area like kitchen, living room, bathroom, bedroom, whereas the outer grid contains the semi-open area for the house. This house is accessible from the road, which contains an organic entrance that leads you to the living area of the house, and this setting of architecture makes this house unique, which contains the combination of closed and open area. The parking of the house is in the front, which connects the local road network, and the house is designed on a hilly terrain and does not disturb the local context of the site. Let's see the section of the house. Here the house does not contain huge massing, only the required area has the roof, whereas the remaining spaces are semi-open. The roof of the house is designed using the holes in a sandbox, which provide natural light into the house. And the house also uses the natural slope to place the functional area and increases the view of surrounding. The passive cooling and thick walls protect the house from the sun and maintain the indoor environment, making the space livable. The interior space does not have a flat roof. They are conical upward to provide grandness into the house and are inspired by the organic principle of nature. Now the question is how we can implement these principles into our design, or maybe in the context of Indian architecture. Here the use of organic shapes makes the house unique, and it also blends effectively with the surrounding context. The second major principle we can use here is the underground house. This technique makes the house more efficient with the climate, making the house cooler and more effective. The third major principle we can use here is the use of material. The thick stone wall makes the house cool, and the use of the roof garden and the landscape makes the house cool. Architecture is always fun if you have a strong concept and effective wisdom, and you can create wonders in the real world. And this house is one example of it. You can also implement these principles into your design and make architecture more beautiful and elegant. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you have any particular recommend of architecture video, you can comment down below. We will definitely make a video on that particular topic. Subscribe to the channel for more such videos. See you in the next video. Salute.